And then welcome to Supermania. I am your host, Catherine McCord, and I am very excited to welcome my friend Stacy to be here with me today. Stacy, I'm going to let you do your introduction yourself because I love how you introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Stacy Casson. And for those of you that can't see me, I'm a very tan woman with shoulder length curly hair with some purple streaks. Today, I have in a yellow sunflower and I'm wearing a light mint green shirt with kind of swirly beadworks around it. And I have on glasses.
I love that. And in the same spirit, if for those who cannot see me, I have on a red shirt with a black stripe. My hair is pulled back. I am brunette with a little bit of graying streaking through there nowadays. I am of olive complexion, brown eyes with glasses. So there you go. I like that. That's a new way to introduce ourselves, more inclusive. I like it very, very much. And for those that are new to the show, we are a show about neurodiversity and about inclusion and about mental health. And I've specifically invited Stacy today because she loves to project support and to project her own, what I consider to be her superpower, although we'll see if she agrees, and helping other people in terms of finding their own awesomeness. And she's very encouraging of people finding their own strength and their own awesomeness. And to me, Stacy, that's your big superpower. But you tell us what you think your superpower is.
Thank you. I think my superpower is mainly kindness, and that can totally tie into what you're talking about in helping other people to discover their superpowers, because I really try and be a cheerleader. If you say, I want to write a book, I'm like, all right, I can't wait to see you on Oprah's book club. Or I want to paint something, like, all right, how can we get started? We could go get some ink together. And I think my excitement about people's potential helps them to get excited about their own potential. And then I ask them questions. I think I ask pretty powerful questions, and then it sets off those kind of discoveries and insights into themselves. I say I'm a professional Watson.
I love that. You're a professional, Watson. That is fantastic. I really, that's how you and I got to know each other, is just, mutual love of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And then you just started supporting me, which was just lovely. I just had this random cheerleader that just popped into my life, and I absolutely loved it. So today we're going to be talking about, the show centers around neurodiversity. And one of the things that happens a lot of times is after diagnosis, you can feel very alienated. Sometimes you can feel very afraid. Sometimes you can feel less than, which is not true at all. Just because you think differently or your brain processes information differently does not mean that you are less than. So I just want to say that loud and clear, that is a primary message of this show. But with that, I tell everyone that with every characteristic of everyone, there is a yin and a yang. Right? So there's always a negative. Even kindness, you can be too kind, and that can actually turn into a flaw, or it's actually a problem. You can be assertive, and that can be great sometimes, but not other times. So everything has a yin and a yang. And I've learned to find sort of my superpowers. But what I wanted to pick your brain about today, Stacy, is how people can ask themselves those questions like you ask other people, and how they can start to go down the journey of understanding the positive aspects of their neurodiversity and or mental health. So starting off, my first question to you is, when somebody is in a bogged down and feeling the weight, that's what I like to call it, feeling the weight of a new diagnosis, what are some things that you do to bring yourself to a more open space where you can start to process what's going on?
Well, the first thing I do is I feel the feels. Like if there's a weight, then I treat even the weight with compassion and curiosity. Like, okay, this sucks. Just to, I'm not happy. I'm not loving this. what does that really feel like? And I just kind of go through, I'm very much into mindfulness and meditation. So it's, what does that feel like? Where is the weight? Is it in my chest? Does it feel like somebody's squeezing my heart? And when you kind of get centered and calm and accept that feeling, then it kind of gives you some space to then think about, what am I going to do with this? Obviously,
Right.
I can let this crush me, but what is that going to do for me? Okay, I'm crushed. How does that help me? How does that help the people in my life, right? You know, it doesn't help anybody to succumb to it. And I'm not saying that you're not going to feel that way, because a lot of times is, oh my gosh, the rug has been pulled under me. And trust me, I'm a grown up and I have absolute tantrums. Like, this is not there. So you just, like I said, you
Don't we all though? We all have that
all
little 2-year-old
do.
that comes out.
We all do, but it's that you do have to make a decision that, okay, this is the deck I've been dealt with. Now, what am I going to do with it? How am I going
Right.
to deal with it? What you mentioned in the last video, what is your coping plan? Uh, and
Right.
and that can be overwhelming. So it's just like, what's one thing I can do to get
I like
myself
that.
to the next level? And
So
it can be,
start with
yeah,
mindfulness.
yeah,
Feel that, feel the weight, feel what's happening, understand it. Start to just really understand where it's coming from, where that pain is, and then start to focus on one thing you can do to be productive
yeah,
and down that direction. So one thing that, or the thing that I started with, when I went through that, because I was very scared. In my case, I was very scared of ending up like family members who had not ever received treatment, not ever put any effort into understanding themselves better. And I was very afraid of becoming that way. Very scared when I very first was diagnosed. And I I kind of did actually what you're talking about, but not as intelligently, because I was very young. But I just kind of sat there. I got through the feelings, and I thought, okay, now I need to do something. I need to take action. And so the first thing that I decided is, I'm going to learn. That
yes,
was the first thing that I decided, is I want to learn. So I just dove into research like a crazy person. And that's what I do. I just love to research. I love to learn. I even went and got analyzed by some scientists who were doing a study about mental health and about this type of thing, and really just got all the data I could from them. So that was my first step, but there are a lot of first steps that you can take, right? So what are some other first steps that you can think of in either a neurodiversity diagnosis, like maybe dyslexia or dyspraxia um, or ADHD, anything like that, bipolar disorder? What are some different first steps that maybe you can think of that would be very helpful to a person to get them going on their journey?
okay. Well, you stole my first one about learn more. When something
Sorry.
bothers me, I just start researching. But that's okay. Then I would say, look to, are there other people like
Mm.
this? I know there's a lot of YouTubers, for example, and I'm not advocating to get information from YouTube, but I think when you hear other people talk about their story, then it makes it like, okay, this is a human and I'm a human, and they're functioning, they're doing things out there. That's why, representation matters. When we talk about representation
Yes.
matters. So if you can see yourself in other people and see that, look, these people have managed to find a way to cope, to I can't think of that word right now, to not circumvent that thing,
I
redirect
don't
it.
redirect. There you go.
Yeah,
It's like,
redirect.
I don't know.
Yeah, and do something with their ability. Honestly, listening to your show makes me feel empowered. I'm not
Thank
currently
you.
diagnosed with something, but when I hear other people with these things talk about, this is my superpower, then it's thinking about, well, what are the advantages of it? Like you said, there's a
Mhm.
plus and a minus, because everything has a plus and a minus. And I think
Yes.
we like labels because we like to know the thing, we like a thing to be known, but use the label more as a guidepost versus as this is the
Yes.
be all and end all.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I want to hit on two things that you said. Number one is find your tribe. That was your other recommended first step is get out there and find your tribe and the others who have experiences like yours. Nobody's will be exact. Okay. I want to get that out there. Nobody with ADHD has the same experience as another person. Nobody with bipolar one has the same experience as another person, so on and so forth. But you can find your tribe and you can get information. And YouTube is great for finding your tribe, I think. That's what I tell people. Careful be careful taking actual information off of there. Some are great. I actually follow a young lady. She goes, her channel is called Dissociated, and it's for DID, for a dissociative identity disorder. And it's fascinating. She actually will cite her sources and provide medical journal references and things like that. And it's been very interesting. It's been very interesting to learn, but to watch that community and watch the people, they're going, thank you, I feel so alone. And and now I don't. I felt so alone, and now I feel like I have a community that's so powerful and that's so strong. And just knowing that you're not weird, not in a bad way. You might be weird in a good way, but there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You just have something that's different. That's all it is that something is just different. And then the other thing that you said is labels, or I say terms. I like to say terms because labels has developed a negative connotation, very much to your point. Terms are important because they help us understand. That way you can Google, you can research, you can learn. It can help you to gain understanding. It can help you to communicate to someone else what you need, such as a doctor, employer, family member, that type of thing. But that's not all there is. I told my sister when she received a diagnosis that it's no different than your pinky. It's just a part of you. That's it. And you can use that part. And sometimes that part may hurt or it may get in the way or whatever, but it's just a part. It's not everything. It's just true. So Stacy, kind of my next follow-up question to that is, with that in mind, with the idea that you need to find your, you need to do your research, and that this is not all of you, it's just a part. How do you then start to learn to use this part of you that feels new, but it's really always been there? What are some things that you've done as you get older and you learn new parts of yourself to kind of help educate yourself more about yourself and then use those to your advantage?
It really stuck with me, this Einstein quote about, if you tell a fish to climb a ladder, the fish will feel stupid its whole life. And a lot of times I've done that to myself, because there's labels like, here's what your position is, but you don't do things like how everybody else does things. And I think it's first just accepting and valuing what you bring to the table. If you, for example, you can bake a cake, right? And there's many different ways.
Well, not me. I can't bake, but I get your point.
Challenge accepted. But you can bake a cake, and it might be you have to use a recipe, or maybe you're somebody that just likes to experiment, or that you use a box cake. If the end result is a cake, then I don't think it really matters in 99.9% of the time, because you produce the cake. So if you have maybe a learning challenge and you have to read and take notes, and or maybe you're somebody that needs to listen while you read, right? Make those accommodations for yourself. Don't berate yourself because that's how you do it, because that's just the way you do it. And
right.
Really, another thing that was so empowering to me, I was listening to this story, and I really don't remember the gentleman's name. He wrote a book, Look Me in the Eye. And apparently he's autistic. He's on the he has the autistic spectrum disorder, but he's on the Asperger side. And he just understood frequency. Other people would have to do math to understand the same things that he did intuitively. So you can sit there and look at yourself and go, well, I can't do all these massive calculations, but it's the perspective. Everybody else doesn't have this intuitive thing, so they have to go through math to make this happen. And you can just do it by thinking about it. So I think when you shift your perspective on what you bring to the table and on your superpowers, because everything has a dark side. If you could see through buildings, for example, that's Superman. Superman can also see through everything, and that you might see some things you don't want to see. right?
That's
That's the
true.
dark side. Super strength. You can touch somebody gently and break their arm. So there's a positive and a negative to everything. So some of it is you don't have to do anything, but consider changing your perspective and your mindset about this thing that's happened in your life, because like you said, there's nothing wrong with you. You
Right.
process things differently, right? There's nothing wrong with, for example, people that maybe they broke their arm, okay? So their arm is broken, but it would be nice if a world would accommodate a broken arm, or just like when we make things that are easy for everybody, curb cuts, for example.
Right.
People that have to use a wheelchair, they're not broken people. They have something that needs to be accommodated. We both wear glasses, okay?
Right.
So because we wear glasses, it means that some things are blurry, but it
I
can.
am blind as a bat. I just want to put that out there. I can't see squat without these suckers. Like I can't read a jersey number that's 3 feet in front of me without these things on.
Right. So
So I really know what you mean.
yeah. So if you're trying to do things that like read, or things that people take for granted, it can be challenging and frustrating, and you have this barrier. But I'm an artist, and sometimes the things that are going on with my eye gives me a completely different and unique perspective that nobody else has. I have
Right.
a thing where I see halos, and it really makes how I look at the world unique. And I embrace
Mhm.
that for my art. It's challenging sometimes if there's a big bright light, but for my art, that is something that nobody else can do because they're not me. So I think
Right.
it's recognizing that, saying affirmations and viewing it as a positive. I'm always, in some ways, be a intentional Pollyanna about what is happening,
I
just to
like
give
that. Be an
yourself some
intentional
balance.
Pollyanna. That's a
To
great
give
quote.
yourself some balance. I mean, because we have to admit that there's some challenges. There's definitely some, like you said, some
Speaking of,
disadvantages.
you may
Yes.
notice that today I'm having face ticks. I keep winking. I'm not picking you up, Stacy. I'm not trying to like come on to you. I promise. this is this is just something. This is just something that happens. I also, and I actually knew this was going to happen today. I was actually kind of happy because, by the way, guys, this is the first pre-recorded show I've ever done. Stacy's been very gracious in helping me out with that today. And part of one of my neurodiversities is that I have a seizure activity that's all neuro and focus and all about how my brain misfires on occasion, and how my neurons process. And so this is one of the things that can happen. And occasionally you may notice that I jerk, and I'm not in pain, just so that everybody understands. This does not hurt me right now. Now it can become painful if my neck keeps ticking and things like that. But this is just part of my life. It's just what I do. And the thing that I decided to take away from this, because this is honestly not my favorite part of my condition. There are things that I do love. I love, for instance, in my bipolar one, I love my mania. It's helped me to become successful as as an entrepreneur. But and my arm is shaking right now, by the way. You may or may not be able to tell that. Um, and what I decided to take from that is that it has given me a lot more understanding into other people. And it's also taught me that it's taught me a lot more about mind over matter. It has. It's taught me a lot more about I can keep working. I'm just shaking. It's okay, you know. And it's taught me not to let things bother me so much. I'm a very high strung type A person, and it's taught me not to let things bother me so much and not to focus so much on perfection, but to allow myself to be more human and to just let things roll off, which trust me, I needed to learn. I really, really needed to learn that lesson. Everybody that knows me will tell you. So that's been my blessing from this. And so, yeah, so just to your point, so this is something that's not the most fun thing in the whole wide world, but it's okay. And it's taught me something. Yeah.
Be
So
funky at the
Stacy,
dance clubs.
right? There you go. That's going to be my new dance moves. It's just the shake. And that was great. You know what? As soon as we're done with this show, I am going to have to text my husband that he's going to love it. So, So, it's really funny. It's stuff like that, learning to laugh, right? Just learn to laugh and realize that everything's okay. Now it's calming down. You'll notice the are slowing and things like that. And it's okay. It's just part of life, but you take that stuff, you roll with it, you go on. So as you learn these things and you take these lessons, I think it's also important to apply that to how you work with everyone else, right? And how you present yourself, even in your professional life, with your family, with your friends. So, Stacy, I mean, you are one of the best at communicating and showing empathy and showing kindness. How do you take the experiences from your life and apply it to how you work with others?
I will say in this case, I've taken it's been a lot of personal growth and journey. As a kid, I know for sure I was self-absorbed. My husband would just walk around me. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, obviously the world revolves around you." And but I didn't take it personally. I reflected on it and said, yeah, sometimes I'm a selfish person. So because I'm aware of those things, when I interact with other people, I really try and make an effort to think that there's more than me, and people
Mhm.
come in different ways. I've been fortunate that I have family members with neurodiversity, so it's kind of become something just intrinsic to, I mean, I don't even notice your tics because I try and see people for that inner being, just their humanness, like the namaste. I see the divine in you that you see in me. So I approach people just as people, and I try and understand, what are you about? What ideas do you have? What can we learn from each other? Versus, okay, there's this tick thing. I have ticks. I mean, my husband's like,
But
you
do they
should
help
find
you on the
yourself
dance
an
floor?
email. Yeah, on the dance
But do
floor.
they help you on the dance floor?
Yeah. We all have that. I think we try, again, it's those terms or labels that, oh, because you have this thing, but everybody has something weird. Go play poker.
Yes.
Everybody has a tell. So
Yes.
I just try and approach people that as people. Hold on 1 second. Okay, we're back. You're muted. Uh-oh, technical difficulty. I can't hear you.
Can you stop the recording real quick? I got to take care of a cat.
Okay. Okay. And we're back.
Technical difficulties. That's okay. But it's so very important to learn yourself, right? And to use those things and apply those things and to see people as the whole person. You've heard me on my other show talk about hire the person, not the wrapping. Well, it's the same thing when you're engaging with a person. Engage with the human, not what you're seeing just right in front of you, not what you're um, not what you're experiencing elsewhere. I had a a great lesson from a little kid at one point who said, a friend of mine's son, we were out in public and he just walked up and started talking to this woman at the grocery store who had a helmet on and had some other kind of safety gear. And she had a lady with her shopping. And he just walks up, happy as sunshine, just having a whole conversation. And the woman kind of that was with the helmet stopped and just kind of looked at us and looked at him and looked up at me. I said, "Is this okay?" She said, "Yes, I am just not used to people walking up and talking to her." And I thought, how ridiculous. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you just walk up and say hi? But here, this little boy, just, it never occurred to him. He just walked up and was like, hey, I like Hot Pockets too. And just kept, and just kept on with the conversation. So talk to people on a human level. And if you notice somebody struggling with something, if they want to talk about it, they'll reach out. If they need something in that moment and you think that you can help, definitely feel free to ask, but don't push either. Let them. One thing that my mother taught me when she was going through her rheumatoid arthritis battle is let the person set their own pace. If they want to try to do something themselves, you let them. If they need help, then be there for them. So that's very much what I advocate for. And also, we discussed earlier, wellness plans, folks. Wellness plans. I never advocate one way or another for therapy or medication or any of that, but develop a holistic wellness plan. And holistic just means that it encompasses your mind, your emotions, and your body, and takes care of all of those aspects. So just make sure that you have a very robust wellness plan. And for every, right, to your point, I mean, this could be for physical ailments, for just general sanity, getting older. I don't like getting older. It's not getting closer to death. It's that I don't like what my body's doing. And nobody tells you these things. My friends and I are always laughing at crazy things that happen to your body as you get older. But just, take care of yourself, folks. Just really be well and focus on that. And as you're going through your journey, I would say, give yourself grace. It's my sister's favorite saying. She always says, give yourself grace and learn, research. You're listening to two research fiends right here. Okay. We both love the research. I know Stacy does. I see her post things all the time. And so learn, grow, get your tribe, right? Got to get that tribe in there. And then get the wellness plan and give yourself grace, and maybe get some cool dance moves like me. I'm now stuck on that. That's my new favorite thing. So Stacy, closing remarks for people about embracing their own superpowers, embracing the positive to every situation. What are your final thoughts?
There's only one you. There was a million billion coincidences and circumstances that had to set up to create you, for you to be in this space and time. And take advantage of the fact that you are unique. Yeah, you're special like everybody else, but there really is only one you, and you have something to bring to the world. So embrace that and just realize that you are special and unique, and you are worthy, and you are enough.
Absolutely. That is a beautiful closing. I have nothing to add. So with that, I'm going to close out the show. Thank you so much for watching. Join us next week for yet another topic about neurodiversity and mental wellness. Please feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn, and have a wonderful day, everybody.
Thank you, Catherine.